really start the process early. And we jump in that. And that was actually upgraded in 2008, sepsis campaign. The amount of fluids that we're supposed to dump, I believe initially it's 250 cc's an hour for the first 12 hours, and then it goes down to 150 cc's for the remainder of the 24 hours. So with acute sepsis, we dump fluids into people. And sepsis is one of the leading causes of death. You know, and like I said, the older you get, the less the inflammatory response. So people are often sicker than they look. And so you have to, they come into us and they're sick. They don't look that sick by their vital signs, but you look at their blood work, they might not look that sick, but they're hypotensive, they're tachycardic, they're tachypnic, they're acidotic, and they're sick. The same kid that get the same infection is going to show signs of acute infection to a much greater degree and much more quickly. So therefore, our seniors are much more predisposed to becoming septic and dying for sepsis because we don't get the warning signals that we do with somebody who's young and healthy. Sepsis just means that you have an increased systemic inflammatory response. Fever, tachycardia, tachypnea, leukocytosis, those are all signs of infection. And when I classify sepsis and a patient comes in, if they have 2 of those things, they're considered septic. If they have leukocytosis and they're tachypnic, I can call them septic. If they have a fever of 102 and a high white count, they're septic. You don't have to have all of them. You just have to have a couple of them. But there are several different things that are considered indicators of sepsis. When you're septic, you're going to have increased clotting because the body, that's part of the response to inflammation. And you often end up with changes at the endothelial level because of that inflammatory response. And so when someone doesn't, say somebody just has one of those things, one of those inflammatory responses, it's considered SIRS, okay, systemic inflammatory response. It becomes septic when they have 2 or more of those things. If you don't diagnose it and treat it, they end up with multiple organ failure. And you know what that looks like. Hypotensive, acidotic, elevated white count, kidney shutdown, tachycardia. Every single one of the organs becomes affected because it's trying to combat this illness, and it often doesn't, and it can't. And when people end up with multi-system organ failure, the chances of survival become really slim. So you really want to be aggressive with treating sepsis, and that's the reason why, because the end result is death. Yeah, 2008 we had an update. So they looked at, when they implemented all this stuff in 2003, they went back and looked at how well is this working and what should we do differently. And so essentially, they said, yep, sepsis is a big thing, we need to do these things. And one of the things, though, that they decided is that you need tight glycemic control. High blood sugars greater than 200 is detrimental. And of course, your body becomes hyperglycemic in response to any kind of sepsis. So you might have somebody who's not diabetic, but if they're real septic, they may end up on an insulin protocol. And that's the reason being, because we don't want their blood sugars real high. It actually inhibits the body's ability to heal itself. With our people that are diabetic, when I have a diabetic come in, even if they're just on oral agents, they go on a sliding scale because I know their blood sugar is going to be high. And I know that their blood sugars being out of control impairs their body's ability to heal. So I'll say to them, you're going to be on an insulin sliding scale when you come in. I may still continue your agents, but it's not going to be enough. And having high blood sugars is detrimental to me getting you better. So while you're in the hospital, you're going to be on a sliding scale. When you go home, you're not. But while you're in the hospital, you are. And that's why you see people on the sliding scale. If you ever wonder.
Can sepsis cause low blood sugar as well? Because I had a patient that we sent out for sepsis, and I took her blood sugar, and it was 27. And she's never ever been that low, and her temp was crazy low too.
Because she was probably so sick
Okay.
that her body's ability
Mm.
to respond appropriately was impaired.
Okay,
So the answer is yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Cause I never saw, like, I
Hypoglycemia.
took her temp and I'm like, 95.2, that's not good.
She
and-
was really sick because her thermoregulatory
Yeah.
responses were so impaired that
Yeah,
it couldn't even do what it needed to do.
Okay.
She was one sick
Yeah.
puppy. So that's when the body really,
Mhm.
it can't, it hits a wall, it can't do it.
Mhm. Okay.
There, that's really sick.
Yeah,
There are some really heavy-duty drugs that we use. I think I've only seen Xigris used once. Somebody's gonna be really sick, and it's a last-ditch effort that you're gonna use that as a last resort. With somebody as sick as a young girl that you were talking
Mhm.
about, that if we don't do something, they're gonna die.
mhm,
And we have to use this anti-inflammatory factor that, because remember, inflammation is good, but too much inflammation can be bad. And with inflammation, the body's response is to heal, but if it becomes out of control, then it starts backfiring on itself and causing damage. And when people are as sick as your patient is, that you talk about, there'd be somebody who probably got Xigris in an attempt to
yeah,
decrease
it was
that
just so
inflammatory
crazy. Well,
response.
she was an extremely sick person, like, we were trying to, like, get her onto hospice for, like, a good probably 6 months, and she just wouldn't do it, and then we were just kept sending her out, and, you know, all this stuff happened, and I'll just never forget, like, oh, blood sugar 27, temp of 95, I've never seen that before.
But, and that's, her,
Mhm.
she was so impaired that
Yeah.
nothing could respond the way it was supposed to.
The hospital pretty much told her, like,
She was gonna die.
this is it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
you're
need to
done.
be a DNR, like, right
But you're
now.
dying. Your
Yeah.
body, we can't do anything more to support your
Yeah.
body.
She
Your
came
body
back
doesn't
and died,
work.
like, I think, like, 6 days later, when she came back, but.
Well, you know, everybody is different, and you
Mhm.
know, it's hard. Some people can't give up the fight,
It was sad because she struggled for a long time.
I bet. But for her,
Mhm,
and it took me a long time of being in medicine,
mhm.
because I would think, you know, why would you do this? It took me a long time to realize that my choices, even though they may be the best choice, that I have to honor what somebody else's
Yeah.
choice is. And it took me a long time to be able to be accepting of
Mhm.
that, to realize that everybody has a right to their own choices.
This is probably something a little completely different, but we're talking about death and stuff. Why is it, because you work in cardiology, you've worked in cardiology, why is it someone young that has a heart attack, like a massive coronary, less chance of survival, whereas somebody who is older has a little bit more chance of
Because
survival?
they usually have big MIs. If they're that sick, they usually have significant disease, they usually have big MIs, they usually have a lot of global damage,
Mhm.
so that their heart attacks are usually much more severe.
Okay.
You get older and people have, you'll see it all the time, non-SD elevation MI secondary to strain, okay? Their troponins go up, but they don't have any muscle damage, okay? Still considered a heart attack because their tropes went up.
Mhm.
So their heart has shown us that it's been strained, but it's not the same as having intramural or wall damage.
Mhm.
So you get a 45-year-old who has an MI, it's a primary cardiac event.
Mhm.
They have lack of blood flow to an area, and they're getting transmural wall damage. Much more compromising. When you get older, remember we talked about the fact you don't have the same kind of response, and they often have, their MIs are often, they're secondary, usually not primary. So the younger you are, it's usually a primary event, so therefore the damage is often worse.
Young
Is that-
people
is
have
that-
the big one.
Say that again?
Young people tend to have the big one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're young and you have an MI, it's a primary cardiac event.
It's because your heart is junk, you've been doing something that's not good.
Yeah, either you have cardiomyopathy that's been induced by drugs or
Yeah.
alcohol, so that you have an impaired muscle to start with, and you or you have you have inherited bad coronary artery disease, and you do all the wrong things, like smoking, and drinking, and eating excessively, and sitting on your rear end, which even causes more inflammation and causes more blockage, because that's what happens, is inflammation on the inside of the vessel that builds all that plaque on the inside. And so Yeah, the younger you are, the more chance that there is a big primary event, and that's a reason. So. That's it. Not too bad, considering it took me about 20 minutes to get everything going here. All right, it won't be late next week, I promise. Yeah, next week's cardiac, so it'll be much